code names and other secrets were revealed at today's state capture inquiry. Former Bosasa employee Richard Leroux listed several projects the company did for the governing ANC, members of the governing ANC. He also named several officials who received security upgrades from the company. Today's second witness was Leon van Tonder, another Bosasa employee. Van Tonder says he was ordered to destroy Correctional Services Department tenders that the company had. eNCA's Erin Bates is following proceedings and joins me now from our newsroom. It seems that modus operandi, Erin, to destroy documents and video footage and whatever files were deemed to be undesirable seems to have been the modus operandi at Bosasa.
Yes, that's what we heard from the second witness today, and I must emphasize to us that both the witnesses on the stand today did so, or appeared rather, after being issued summonses to do so. One is currently employed at a subsidiary of what was Bosasa and is now African Global Operations. That's Richard Leroux. And then we heard from Leon van Tonder, who used to work in IT both at Bosasa and some of its subsidiaries. And you're right, Van Tonder actually gave us details on what he said was destroying documents under duress. He said that he knew what he was doing was wrong, so potentially implicating himself there in defeating the ends of justice and destroying evidence. But he said that he did so because he was fearful of Gavin Watson. And then if we return just back to that astounding testimony from Leroux this morning, where he listed effectively a name of people he said received security upgrades and then maintenance on their personal homes. We're going to go through the list methodically to us. Let's start off with someone who we understand to be a sitting magistrate. Let's have a look.
A Mr. Desmond Nair.
At whose instruction?
Trevor Matenja instructed Angelo Grizzi, who instructed me.
And do you know who Mr. Desmond Nair is?
I have no clue who he is, Chair.
And how many properties were attended to?
Only one property, Chair.
And where was it situated?
In Pretoria.
Can you recall when you attended to the property?
I cannot recall.
And can you recall how many times you went to the property?
Can I give you the background on the project?
Yeah.
I recall Angela was very cross with this project because what had happened was they had sent a project manager out to this premises and he went in a Sondolo uniform. And questions were raised by the security company that's guarding his house as to why is Sondolo coming to do a installation of this magnitude at this house. And I had to go there afterwards and do another survey, and I was questioned and asked where, and I said, well, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know a company called Sondolo IT. I said, we're just here under instruction to come and do a survey and to come and install equipment.
That's Richard Leroux there testifying at the Zondo Commission of State Capture this morning. And that's just one of the names, the sitting magistrate, we understand, who's been implicated in getting security upgrades and then maintenance on security features at his home, all paid for, says Leroux, by Bosasa. But there's a name that many of us may have already heard in connection with Bosasa upgrades, and that is of ANC MP Vincent Smith. This is what Leroux had to say to corroborate Angelo Agrizzi's testimony, amongst others, on upgrades to his home.
To every project, the paperwork would be given to Angelo Grizzi, the invoices, the quotations, the IP addresses of the premises, the passwords, everything to do with that project would be handed to Angelo Grizzi in an envelope, and that's where I'd leave it.
Would the paperwork relating to a special project concerning a particular government official or cabinet minister reflect his or her name, or would it reflect also the address of the premises where the special project had been carried out?
What we used to do on the invoice is we would give the projects a name.
Yes.
Can I give an example?
Yeah,
Yes.
would do an example.
For example, Vincent Smith, we used that project name as Project Jones.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And we would then refer everything to, if Mr. Smith used to phone or there was a request, we would say Project Jones needs ABCD.
Oh, okay. You would
Right.
avoid mentioning the name.
That's correct. Because it was said to me that at all costs, nothing must reflect back to Bosasa at the end of the day.
Richard Leroux giving insight into the special projects he says Bosasa bankrolled. We've heard about a magistrate there, also Vincent Smith, an ANC MP. But what about sitting ministers in President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet and a senior member of the ANC's former and current top 6? Let's have a look at what Leroux had to say on Minister Gwede Mantashe.
The 3 properties belong to Gwede Mantashe.
And how do you know that the property belonged to Mr. Gwede Mantashe?
Because it was said to me by Papale Shabani, one of the directors at African Global.
And what was Mr. Papale Shabani's involvement?
I'm not sure what his involvement is there. I was just instructed to go and do 3 residences of Mr. Gwede Mantashe.
And you were so instructed by Mr. Papale Shabani?
It was instruction from Papale Shabani, yes.
You've just stated that there were 3 properties.
That is correct, Chair.
Can you recall the areas?
The one area was in Boksburg in 29.1. 29.2 was in Elliot, Eastern Cape. It was a farm. And 29.3, it was Kala in the Eastern Cape.
And can you recall if the specific project was given any special name, as has been with the previous project?
It was only called Mantashe, that's it.
And when was this project undertaken?
I'm not sure of the dates, but if we go back on the invoices, we'll be able to trace back the dates of the invoices. I've already spoken to the investigation team who are going to obtain all the invoices from the suppliers.
Invoices in respect of the suppliers for maintenance on the properties?
In respect to the installations.
Now, Leroux also mentioned Dudu Myeni in his testimony in 2 instances. The one was in relation to a VVIP visit to the Bosasa office park, and Leroux says that he was instructed by Gavin Watson and directors of that company to delete footage showing Dudu Myeni, President Jacob Zuma, as he was then, and Becky Tele at the premises of the business. But then he also spoke about security upgrades he says he was involved in, and he says he actually had a conversation with Dudu Myeni at her Richards Bay property, where he claims Bosasa paid for security installations and maintenance. Let's have a look.
In paragraph 31 to 42, you speak of another property. In respect of whose property was the special project undertaken?
Yes, it was, Chair.
In respect of who?
Dudu Myeni.
And can you recall how many properties were attended to?
Only the Richards Bay property.
And at whose instruction was this special project undertaken?
Trevor Matendra and Gavin Watson.
Was any special name given to the project?
No, Chair. Not to my recollection.
And can you recall when this project was undertaken?
I can't recall the month or the year when it was undertaken.
Did you attend personally to the property in Richards Bay?
Can I explain how we...
No, first answer yes or no. Did you personally attend to the property in Richards Bay?
That's correct, Chair.
And were you accompanied by anyone?
By Trevor Matendra, Chair.
And who is Trevor Matendra?
He's one of the directors at African Global.
And how did you get to Richards Bay?
Well, maybe let's start with this. How did it come about that you attended to this project?
Chair, I was phoned by Trevor Matendra, and I was told that I had to meet him at the office the very next morning.
Advocate Rufilwe Molefe there leading interrogation and questioning of Richard Leroux, who is currently employed actually at an African Global Operations subsidiary that works in IT. So it might be a bit of an awkward day for him back at work tomorrow. So now that is 5 Bosasa-linked witnesses who've gone onto record under oath to incriminate colleagues in wrongdoings, fraud, corruption, money laundering and the like. And we do expect that tomorrow's new distinct witness at 10 o'clock will speak much along the same themes.
Right, thank you so much for that. That's eNCA's Erin Bates.